Hello, Emily, my lovely daughter. Today is the 19th of August, 2019, and I just wanted to check in with you, see how you were doing, see what's going on with you. This is the first or the second week of your sophomore year at Cabrillo High School. And like I said, I just wanted to check in, see how you were doing today. Um, we did have a nice text exchange a day or two ago. Um, and I guess things are going well for you in class as your classes begin. That's pretty exciting. Um, this weekend was a pretty amazing weekend for me. I guess it first started out when I made an appointment to get a bike fitting at Hazard Cyclosports in Santa Barbara. Um, I did make the appointment, but unfortunately, we had to reschedule that appointment because the person who was going to do the bicycle fitting got called for jury duty, and so could not support the bicycle fit. So I'm going to have to reschedule that appointment sometime later on this week. Um, so that's fine. I'll be getting eventually. I'll be getting a bicycle, and then my interest is in running a triathlon. Probably, who knows? I'll probably find a triathlon somewhere. Maybe a local triathlon if possible. Maybe one in San Luis Obispo or Santa Barbara. And in fact, now that I think about it, I think I want to go running today. When I run these days, I run about 5.5 miles. That seems to be about par for the course right now. And when I bicycle, I'm biking a good 11, 12, 13 miles, depending on what brand of stationary bicycle I ride. Isn't that funny? Different brands of stationary bicycle give me more or less credit on distance. It's all about the computer formulas that they use in these bicycle trainers. And swimming, generally I swim about a kilometer once a week, and I could up that to a mile, but I don't think that uh, most sprint triathlons, I don't think they ask you to swim a mile. I think they only ask you to swim half a kilometer, really. So I'm doing 100% more swimming than I need to do. So that's fine. I'm also doing probably nearly 100% more riding that I need to do. For me, the key for doing a triathlon is going to be integrating all three of those sports together on one day to perform at one event. Because right now, when I do a triathlon, but I do it like over 3 days, right? I do swimming one day, then running the next day, then biking the next day. So I'm just gonna have to combine. I mean, I've got physical fitness to support all three. I'm certain of it, and I don't think I'll have. I would like to do it once or twice, where I actually sort of do the running, swimming, and biking in sequence. I'd like to do it a couple times before I actually do my first triathlon, just to give my body the cue that that's the kind of work that I'm going to be asking it to do. And so give my brain a little bit of a heads up before I actually perform the triathlon, letting my brain know, and my body and my muscles and my tendons know what I'm going to be asking of it. So looking forward to eventually getting involved in a triathlon in the coming months. So looking forward to that. I also did something else that was really fun last weekend. I went to the Marianne Williamson um, gathering. I guess there was like a session that she put on, some kind of it was a political speech. It's really pretty amazing. I had a really good time. So glad that I went. It was worth what I paid to sit and enjoy. I had a lot of nice conversations with people who were there. And I also met up with a girl that I recently met, really a woman who I recently met. Her name is Emily. And she is a pretty remarkable woman, and really terrific woman that I have just met. And I'm really encouraged by our interactions. And anyway, I'll probably talk about her in a different video than this one. But that's been occupying my mind lately. We spent a lot of time together yesterday, and things went really well, spellbindingly well, in fact. And so I'm pretty excited about that and the direction it's going right now, and that it even exists. And so I'm feeling good and happy as a result. Let's see what else is going on. What other good stuff is going on? I've got my photography class coming up tomorrow. That's my first day of class. I got my textbook for my photography class at Allen Hancock College. And I ordered it through Amazon.com. The class is at Allen Hancock College in the Santa Maria campus. And so we're looking forward to visiting with the professor and just getting super involved in that class, reading the textbook, learning as much as I can about DSLR cameras and how to use them. And now I happen to have a mirrorless camera. I've got a Canon M50 mirrorless camera. And I have a feeling that this photography class is going to be conducted in black and white only, black and white photographs. I'm not quite sure why that choice was made, but um, who knows? I still haven't had my first class yet, so I don't know really what the rules are for the class, and I'll be finding out tomorrow night. So also excited about that. So I'm excited about bicycling. I'm excited about my photography class. I'm excited about this new woman that I've met. I'm excited about a lot of things. So the beginning of this school year, the beginning of this semester is just, wow, it's really going off with a bang. Yeah, it's definitely, yeah, it's been amazing. So I'm also looking forward to a lot of other things later on this week. I am intending to go to an authentic relating workshop at Yoga Soup on Friday night. And I don't know, there's all kinds of stuff going on. And then I'll probably go dancing on Sunday at Dance Tribe. So, I'm filled with all kinds of plans for, ways to have fun and make my life just a little bit better. I've I've also been interested in doing more workouts throughout the week and just getting stronger and more fit, building my endurance, building my power. And I'm still not quite sure how to do that, how to make that happen, because a lot of my workouts, they already last about an hour and a half each. And I don't know what I'm going to do. I think I might have to start working out twice a day. I don't know. I might just have to start working out twice a day to fit everything in, because there's a lot of things I want to fit in. I'm not able to stick my workouts into my days anymore with just working out on my lunch break. I've definitely got to have to widen it out, start working out after work. So I think I'm going to have to just like these split routines, right? Where I'm working out twice a day just to fit it all in. Yeah. So I'm really feeling privileged in the sense that like I've got the ability to work out so strongly with my body, and that the sports facilities and gym facilities are close and they exist. They're affordable, and I don't know. It's pretty awesome, really. So I'm really glad to be having this focus on fitness. Now, when it comes to my diet, you know, this vegetarianism has been really working out. I still have my qualms about eating dairy, though. The other day, I read an article, a science article, talking about how there is a statistical difference between the cancer rates for people who are lactose intolerant and the people who are not and consume dairy. Turns out the people who consume dairy, on average, generally, have a higher cancer rate, a statistically significant higher cancer rate, just because they eat dairy. Yeah, I suspect dairy has in it. It must have in it. Who knows? Okay, now this is complete speculation, but I imagine that there may be fragments of I don't know what DNA or whatever of somehow viruses, perhaps, I don't know, they get into the human body and perhaps they affect endothelial cells and um, create cancer in them by some mechanism. I'm not sure what. But there's something about dairy which can be problematic for a person who wants to lower their cancer risk as much as possible. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do. Dairy is really a convenient food. I like how high protein it is. Of course, it's unfortunate that it tends to throw off your calcium balances. I don't know. This whole thing with diet, it's a real challenge. Human beings have not, um, we haven't figured out diet yet. I think we're going to do it soon. You know, for 200,000 years, the human beings have really been struggling with getting enough food from their environment. And now that we have an abundance, now we're still struggling through the commercial forces that are at work in our food environment. And science hasn't really showed us the solution to our food problems in terms of nutrition yet. But we're getting really close. We're getting really close. And one of these days we'll have food worked out. And my guess is that we're probably going to swallow pills or capsules or something for every meal. And that's just going to be standard, right? It's going to be like this new high-tech food called Soylent. I think food's going to be like that eventually, where there will be clinical studies, longitudinal studies of people eating these food substitutes and living longer than people who eat food. Maybe they'll have lower incidence of cancer. Of course they will. Maybe because I'm guessing that this new food has no cholesterol or isn't high in saturated fat. I'm guessing that a lot of the new foods, when they come down the line, like the Soylent man-made foods, that they'll go a long way towards reducing mortality and morbidity, or morbidity and mortality in the human population. But that's me. I'm doing some what I'd call futurism, some thinking about what the future might hold. We're not there yet. We're still relying on fruits and vegetables and animal products largely to give us the nutrition we need to live and grow. So I'm curious what's on your mind lately, and let's see. So I was considering momentarily your needs, and let's see here. Autonomy. I guess I wanted to discuss at length autonomy, and in particular your autonomy and ideas about your autonomy and why it's so important and critical. one of the first things I want to tell you is that I have a really strong intention in me to support your autonomy. In a way, I see this as the central role of me as your parent, as your father, and that is to support your autonomy. Now, there's an extent to which I do support your autonomy. So, to the extent that it doesn't impact your health and safety. Um, but the fact is that I don't have to play that role very often because because I'm not seeing any health and safety risks from you exercising your autonomy um, as of yet. So I don't feel necessarily compelled to put any limitations or constraints on your autonomy. Now, your mom might feel otherwise, and that's completely understandable. She has more understanding and depth of knowledge in how you do your day-to-day activities, and has a better idea, a better grasp of where to set those boundaries, and that's great for her. But yeah, I really do believe that my central role is to support your autonomy. In fact, my belief is that even more central than that, or a big part of that, is helping you become a good decision maker. In fact, helping you become a good decision maker, I think, is really one of my primary roles. And to do that, I do my best to talk about how to live your life, right? I talk about values and virtues. I talk about your personality strengths. I talk about areas of life that you might want to focus on, concentrate on, to help you succeed. I've sent you some books relating to success. I've got this book that relates to, it's like the teenage book for kids who want to develop grit. And they describe grit as a virtue. Essentially that's perseverance and determination. And I haven't yet sent you that book. I think I might just go ahead and do that. I might even do that today. Because I want to support you in becoming a good decision maker, a good thinker, a good critical thinker. I have a feeling that you're taking probably a few classes in school that are helping you become more critical thinkers. I mean, I'm sure your English class is quite helpful. You're probably doing some comparative literature exercises. By synthesizing information and performing literary criticism on certain books, short stories, and poems, you're really honing and refining your ability to make good decisions. You're integrating information and abstracting it and parsing it, and you're learning a lot about critical thinking. You're probably also learning things like informal fallacies. There are also psychological elements related to critical thinking, confirmation bias. There's also a lot of what I'd call sloppy thinking issues related to shoulding, woulding, and coulding, and overgeneralizing, black and white thinking. There's personalizing. There's all kinds of factors that one needs to consider when you're trying to be as. There's lots of biases that one needs to consider when you're trying to come up with good decisions. You need to basically one by one, maybe using even a checklist format, make sure that your judgments are free from the biases that plague a lot of critical thinking. Yeah. It's almost, sometimes it's too easy to fall into, thinking problems, poor thinking habits. Labeling people would be an example. Uh, Yeah, like an ad hominem attack would be an example of a poor thinking style that you want to stay clear of. You know, yeah. So anyway, yeah. So in fact, that's actually a really good question. So how can I support you becoming a good decision maker? Well, how can I support you becoming a good critical thinker? I remember, I think in the past, I think I have sent you a book that was described accounts of ancient philosophers. And I don't know if you've really got the philosophy bug. I did not get the philosophy bug, or that is an interest in philosophy until I hit college. But I highly recommend you take philosophy classes when you're in college. And I don't know if your high school also supplies a philosophy class, but that would be amazing. There are great classes out there called like Existence and Reality, classes about um, the philosophy of mind, classes about the philosophy of science, classes about epistemology, classes about existentialism. These are all amazing and important topics that are worth consideration. Another thing to study if you're interested in developing your critical thinking skills is psychology. Cognitive behavioral therapy is a really good start. That'll help you become sensitive to your mental health. And, I'll tell you what, mental health has a bearing on your decision making process. And, I think it's important to do the best job you can to come up with good thinking skills. And it's really easy to, it's funny, there's a lot of people who neglect thinking skills, and inevitably they pay the price. Inevitably they pay the price. There are so many ways to reduce your effectiveness in the world, um, because your thinking strategies are um, biased in one way or another, yeah, or not clear or proper, and or at least, and also defendable, you know. So anyway, like I mentioned, I'm an advocate for your autonomy, and part of being an advocate for your autonomy is helping you become a good decision maker. Why? Because having freedom. Well, what enables freedom, what enables autonomy, is good thinking skills. In fact, if thinking skills run afoul of reality, then it's very likely that you can get into trouble. When your judgment is weak, when your judgment is sort of influenced by substances you might be taking, or people might be taking. um, yeah, it's very easy to make bad decisions, and bad decisions can have consequences, serious consequences. I know for me, I'm actually startled about how easy it is to make a bad decision. It's super easy. Um, I do a lot of driving in my car, and all it takes is to move my steering wheel 1 inch in this direction or 1 inch in that direction, and that could create disaster. You know, it's actually quite interesting that all it takes is, you know, 30 seconds of bad decision making, and I could ruin my life and other people's lives real easy. And it doesn't take much. It's just a lapse of 30 seconds. Now, I'm not trying to make you paranoid or overly emphasize this, but there's something about life that sort of requires um, sort of really alert and focused decision making on a continuous basis. Yeah. And it doesn't take much to really, really mess up. And you're learning that now with your experience in your family home, your experiences at school. You're gaining a lot of knowledge about how to navigate the world. And you know what? You gain a lot of knowledge about how to navigate your inner world too. And that's a really another way how psychology can help. Can help you make distinctions that help you think things through, help you make better decisions, help you be more determined in life. And it's worth checking into. So checking into, if you want to improve your critical thinking skills, consider taking classes in high school that can help that out. Certainly in college. In fact, there are classes called critical thinking classes. Definitely worth taking. I've taken one or two of them myself. Yeah. So, yeah, do what you can to support your critical thinking by taking classes or reading books. Even writing can be really helpful when it comes to critical thinking. I was thinking the other day, one of the things that a lot of people do is they write their journals, right? They write in their diary, and this has the effect quite often of clarifying your ideas about what your goals are, what your desires are, what your needs are, and I think there's a lot to learn from a person who journals every day. That practice, I think, is really valuable. You know, if for no other reason, you get to actually see the ideas that are running through your head on paper instead of just observing them using your inner eye or your inner ear or your inner voice as you speak them out in your own mind. Um, there's something about writing down your thoughts and ideas that sort of take it out of the container of your brain and allow you to sort of manipulate it and consider it more wisely. Yeah, I know I've gained a lot of benefit from doing journaling exercises. What's great about journaling exercises is that you can do them anytime you've got a pencil and paper or a pad and pen. So journaling, daily journaling, I mean, that's an excellent tool for self-growth and self-development, an excellent tool for developing good judgment. And, that's just something that's so great about paper. I give thankfulness for the person who created paper. I give my thanks to that person. And who knows, maybe people before paper existed wrote on leaves, right? Papyrus, for example. No doubt they did. And maybe they wrote on stone. Today, it's a lot easier. Now we've got electronic media, we've got computers, and so you can write your narrative down on your laptop computer. And, it's a beautiful thing. I really do love this opportunity to take our thoughts and put them on paper through the use of journaling exercises. I think it can be really, really useful. If there's any time that you're feeling stuck or feeling like there's a lack of creativity in some area of your life, journaling is really a great way to get yourself unstuck, to get yourself loosed and making progress again. There's just something about taking something that's ephemeral, like these ideas in your head, essentially combinations of neurotransmitters and neurons and dendrites, those structures. Uh, and putting those ideas on paper for analysis. There's something about being able to sort of freeze frame an idea, you know, In fact, just sitting in wonder and awe of it all, that you can take a thought that's been circulating in your mind and put it on paper and then analyze that idea. I mean, that's a miracle. I know. There are a lot of animals that don't know how to write. but human beings do know. Thankfully we do know. Oh my gosh, I just got the case of the yawns. Oh, for goodness sake. Yeah. So let's see. I was talking about your autonomy and supporting your autonomy. Yeah. I recognize that for you, autonomy is probably one of the main factors in your life. It's one of the main forces. It may be even like an overwhelming force that is separating you from your parents, separating you from who knows who, your relatives. Yeah, the body is preparing you for life as an individual, life as an adult, which is coming soon. You're 15 years old, and in 3 years, which is not a lot of time, you're going to be making adult decisions. And it's really helpful when a person graduates high school to sort of have this foundation of critical thinking skills to help them out. Yeah, to help you make decisions. Oh, excuse me. Like I said, I got the yawns. I don't know why I get the yawns when I'm speaking in this forum. I'm not sure what that's all about. So we were talking about your autonomy. I want to continuously remind you that you are in the driver's seat in your life. You are the captain at the helm of your ship. And, I think certainly especially as a child, it's really easy to get caught up in the idea that your life is not your own because it's controlled by so many people. It's controlled by your mom, controlled by your dad, controlled by your teachers in school. All like 6 or 7 or 8 of them, right? Or your life is controlled by. What other things could your life be controlled by? I can imagine that. That it's hard to develop autonomy skills when you're continuously being controlled by your parents or by your school. And autonomy really kind of only develops with practice. You sort of have to get out there and start making decisions and enduring the consequences of poor decisions, reacting to those consequences and setting things right. It's just Well, anyway, for some reason I lost my thought. Yeah. Well, I had a really nice weekend last weekend. Let's see, what else do I want to talk to you about? I'm sure there's another thing besides your autonomy. Oh, yeah. So, autonomy is more than just your physical behavior. Autonomy is also the choices that you make about your goals and beliefs and dreams and values. And, I've been considering this lately. And, autonomy in this regard is really important for everyone continuously. I think it's the more you refine your values, the more you define what's important to you and what's significant to you, what rules of behavior you want to follow, whether it's like never lying or, you know, what whatever whatever goals or virtues that you're working on in the moment. For example, patience might be one. That takes an exercise of your choice, your free choice. And the more often you make decisions based on your values, the easier it becomes to make those decisions. Yeah, because you've got experience about the consequences of choosing one value over another. And like I said in previous videos, I think living your values is probably one of the most central aspects of being a human being. Living your values, and living your unique values too. A lot of people I know, I kind of grew up in a religious organization, and people let other people determine what their values are. They readily give up that responsibility. They say, well, I don't know what values to hold or keep. And so they go into church, and then sort of they get like a transfusion of goals from on high, right? Which is actually somewhat unrealistic. But just that they're doing is a great way to practice your autonomy. Deciding on your values. Here's the thing: our environment is continuously changing, and so therefore our values have to continuously change. Now that we've got the internet and media, new ideas are in the idea marketplace, and change is happening at such a rapid pace that we're continually exercising our autonomy. We're continuously like rejiggering our values, reevaluating our goals. I mean, it's just normal. It's kind of funny. I kind of grew up in this era when a person would sort of graduate high school, and then I don't know, they'd be called upon to say select a major in college, like say being a doctor or something, the biological sciences. And I don't know. Oh, I lost my thought again. I think I'm really tired. Yeah, I did not get a lot of sleep last night. That's probably why I'm doing so much yawning. Oh my gosh, I'm just so tired. I got home last night, and instead of going straight to bed, I had a snack and watched a little bit of YouTube, and I'm regretting it now. I'm glad nothing really much is happening over the next 48 hours, other than my photography class. Oh my gosh, I'm really yawning. Oh, my poor brain. Let me tell you, there's something about sleep that recharges the brain and helps you think better. In fact, now that I think about it, when I'm going to be at work today, I'm going to really need my thinking cap on. Hopefully, this sort of goes away in time and my brain adapts to the new condition. Oh boy. So it's almost wintertime. Do you realize that? I mean, it's September, right? Actually, no, it's August. It's late August. It's the 19th of August. It's almost September, which means it's almost wintertime. I guess, no, it's almost fall, right? It's fall. Wow. September is a really amazing month for me because that's the month when all the apple orchards begin producing apples. And I want to do some apple picking. So that sounds really exciting to me. And So I'm going to find some apple orchards and get some apples, and refrigerate them. For some reason, I like cold apples. I like the colder apples. I like apples that have been chilled, especially like the crunchy chilled apples. Wow, now you're talking. So yeah, September's coming. So we're going to have the fall. Ooh, that's going to be great. We're going to be wearing our jackets and wearing our sweaters, and the temperature's going to be going down. Actually, the temperature never really went up this summer. I've heard some people tell me that means that it's very likely that this winter will be very mild, and they're probably right. So we'll see how this winter shapes up. The seasons on this planet have been totally messed up on account of climate change and other factors. I know. I don't know what's going on. Things are so different when it comes to climate now than they were 20 years ago. Oh man. So, I mean, the fact is, it basically never snows where we live, right? In Lompoc. And we may not receive another snow again. I think it might snow like once every 3 years, and it snows for like 30 minutes max. Or another thing that happens locally is that we get hail. And these are like 30-second hailstorms, right? Just because of winds in the upper atmosphere. And I don't know. Our weather patterns are so messed up right now. Well, anyway. So yeah, the fall is here. And October is just around the corner, which means that Halloween is just around the corner. And I wanted to let you know, I think I've come to some decisions about what my Halloween costume is going to be this year. I think I want to be a nerd. I know. So that's cool. Now, what do I need to be a nerd? I think I'm going to have to get some suspenders, and going to have to get some glasses with black frames, I guess, and put some tape around it or something like that. I don't know. I'll have to think of something. The thing is, I already kind of am a nerd, so it's not going to be really hard for me to be a nerd. I don't know. Maybe that's too easy. I was thinking about maybe my Halloween costume. I mean, I guess I could make it like over the top nerdiness. We'll see. There's not much costume work that goes into creating the nerd persona for a Halloween costume. I mean, there's not a lot of sewing that needs to take place, or I don't have to make a lot of purchases or anything like that. And then November will be here, where we'll have Thanksgiving and then Christmas. Wow. Recently, I've been using a new piece of software to make videos. I used to make videos using iVideo all the time. And I got a new piece of software called LumaFusion, and I'm pretty excited about it. And I'm going to be sending you, Emily, a video probably in the next day or two that maybe even 3. I don't know. I think I'm going to try to be more regular sending you videos in the future. I've been delayed recently because I went to my 30-year high school reunion, and I wanted to get back a group picture of the high school reunion students. And I just received that yesterday. I think yesterday was the first day I saw it show up on Facebook. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put together a little movie that documents me traveling to my 30-year high school reunion and send it your way. I still have to make some, download that group class photo and integrate that into my LumaFusion video, and then you'll be able to take a look at it. Interestingly enough, I've not been playing Wizards Unite very much lately. That Harry Potter smartphone app game. Yeah. I also think now that my activities are going to start ramping up because of my class and this woman that I'm seeing, I might not be playing Wizards Unite very often. Oh well, that's okay. Now, since I wanted to let you know, which you may not have heard, that I have finished reading the Harry Potter audiobook. Yeah, I finished listening to it anyway. And in fact, today I'm going to probably be returning that CD cassette pack or CD case pack back to the library. So I just finished Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows, which is the 7th and final book in the Harry Potter series. And I'm going to be watching the movie soon. And so that's cool. How fun is that? So, yeah. Can't wait to do that. So yeah, I think it's good that the series has come to an end for me. So I think I have got this sense that J.K. Rowling, really did want to create a finale for the story. She did a lot of writing. She was very prolific in the sense that those books are big and the story is big, and I'm pretty glad that she put a cap on it. And so I'm happy to have reached the end of that series. But in a way that sort of creates another question. What new series am I going to explore next? I don't think I want to explore Star Wars. But I could always there's this Grindelwald series. Maybe I'll start exploring that and reading the Grindelwald books. I don't know. We'll see. The Crimes of Grindelwald. There was a movie that I saw. In fact, I think it might have been the second installment in the series. We'll see how that goes. I might move on to an entirely new. Who knows? I might start reading Dune, or I might start reading something else. There might be some other series that fascinates me. I think I've kind of had enough of Harry Potter, just Harry Potter. But this Grindelwald stuff might be interesting. We'll see. Let's see what's going on here. What else is going on with me? I'm really enjoying Facebook lately. I'm kind of curious when or if you might be getting a Facebook account. I mean, you're 15 years old, and I'm also kind of curious if you'll be getting an email account. If you do decide to get either of those, I would appreciate knowing about it so that we can connect using those methods. Also, if you ever get interested in Instagram or Snapchat or Twitter, I'm totally there. I'm actually already on those social media channels. And so, I think it'd be fun to interact with you in those ways. Let's see, what else is going on? What other needs did I want to focus on? A big part of autonomy is not just having the freedom to choose. And it's not necessarily just choosing your values, goals, and desires, but it's also choosing your strategy for achieving those values, goals, and desires. So, yeah, autonomy is involved in a lot of things. Your choices about how you live your life, about what goals you're supporting, and how to meet those goals. I don't know. It's really wide ranging. Here's one thing about life. This is an existential truth, and that there is just so much freedom. People have huge amounts of freedom. I don't think they appreciate it in an existential way. People have huge freedom. I mean, I could open the door and run around the block right now if I chose. I could hop in my car and I could drive to Mexico City right now if I choose to do it. I mean, I have amazing freedom in life. I can pretty much choose to think about whatever it is I want to think about. I mean, yeah. It's stunning. It's really stunning how much freedom human beings have. And it's kind of interesting too how we actually are quite bound to how we act because of our need for survival and happiness on the planet. It's kind of funny because we live in such a resource constrained environment on this planet. We're sort of limited in our behaviors. There's only a certain spectrum of behaviors that we could perform in a way that serves us. Of course, there's an infinite other number of behaviors that we could perform that would not serve us, that would be a disservice, and that might serve to help us die sooner. So, I don't know, because of these constraints on our resources and our time, and how we want to maintain values like aliveness, our behavior is kind of restrained as a result. But we could, if we wanted to, engage in all kinds of extreme behaviors just because of the fact of freedom. I mean, I could become like a bungee jumper, or I could do, I don't know, what do they call it? Base jumping. There are a lot of things that I could choose to do. I could do like racing, Formula One racing. If I really, really tried, I could get into that arena. I'm sure I could. Oh, there's just so much freedom. There's just here's an example. Look at my hand right now. I'm moving my fingers, and just look at the freedom, all the modes of freedom that I have in this hand, in this grasp. I've got fingers going out, stretched, fingers being brought into a grip. I've got fingers that can leave and come back in sequence. I mean, look at all that freedom there, that articulation. It's just huge amounts of freedom. In fact, I don't know what to do with it all. I've got so much freedom, I don't know what to do with it all. And it's actually rather complex, How do I choose what to do next? I don't know. How do I choose what to do next in a way that keeps all the plates spinning in my life? And you know what I can choose what plates that I want to spin in my life. So I don't know, man. There's just so much freedom. It's really quite profound. I could speak words, any words that I want to speak. I don't know. One thing that I think we can do because of our autonomy, or in recognition of our autonomy, is to celebrate it. Let's celebrate our freedom. Celebrate the fact that we have, almost literally infinite freedom to do whatever it is we want. I could leave today, find a marathon, and run a marathon today somewhere in the United States if I wanted. And that doesn't mean that I'll finish it, because I probably wouldn't be able to finish, but still I could do it. I could choose to do it if I wanted to. I've got that freedom. Freedom is everywhere. And it's funny, you really don't have to fight for freedom. People talk about fighting for freedom. Freedom happens. Freedom at least the kind of freedom I'm talking about. I'm not talking about political freedom. I'm talking about existential freedom. That's everywhere, and it's free. It totally is free. Now, there are consequences to every action. In that sense, freedom isn't free. You are basically stuck with the consequences as they unfold. And the fact is, for human beings, it's actually quite difficult to predict what the future will bring. So, I don't know. Anyway, it was a pleasure talking to you about freedom and autonomy, and then ending up on celebrating the fact of our freedom, of our existential freedom. I hope you have a fantastic day today, and I hope to see you eventually. Maybe I'll see you this fall and winter sometime. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll see you during your winter break, perhaps. I'd be open to visiting together. We could do that on We can do that on video conferencing on FaceTime, or we can just exchange videos or text messages too. That works just okay too. Anyway, I'll talk to you later, and I'll try to get more sleep tomorrow night, because I'm totally yawning. Oh my gosh. I love you, girl. Bye-bye.